High school football is back in the Big Bend and South Georgia. It feels oh so good.
This Florida State football team came here to Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina, a completely different football team than 4 weeks ago, and they played like it against their rival tonight. Day 2 of ACC kickoff is in the books. You know what that means, Noles fans? That means we got to hear from Florida State head coach Mike Norvell and 3 players. This was a nice game, especially after a bye week, to get out of, beat the teams you're supposed to beat on paper, and beat them handily. We've talked about it throughout the season, Ryan, and everyone got involved, and most importantly, everyone came out of this game healthy.
Massive win. Josh Brown, player of the game, 4 total touchdowns, 3 on the ground, 1 through the air. What a comeback, what a win.
On his throwing shoulder, at one point told Coach Goff he couldn't throw over 20 yards, but again, comes down to missed tackles, allowing 400-plus yards on the ground for Ferris State. Not a winning formula.
Gift that keeps on giving. Bainbridge, Thomas County Central, Cairo, all beating up on each other, trying to find someone to finally be that top dog, and Bainbridge may have something to say about it.
22nd ranked FAMU trying to keep their season alive against 17th ranked Southeastern Louisiana. A battle of a top 5 defense in the country that FAMU boasted all season long, and a Lions offense that certainly is one of the best in all of FCS football.
The 9th ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish make their way to Tallahassee in 2 weeks' time. Enough fuel to maybe start looking ahead. But no, Mike Norvell and the Seminoles are focused on right now.
A region game, a rivalry game, and what I expect to be a good old-fashioned South Georgia game. Both teams, both coaches excited for this one.
Now here's a look at some matchups to keep an eye on that might help FAMU's playoff chances this upcoming weekend. According to Sam Herder, who's an FCS football bracketologist for Hero Sports, FAMU is one of the first 2 teams out of the field of 24. Them, along with Chattanooga, who plays the Citadel this upcoming weekend. Now, the Mocs are just 6-4. They do have some wins over ranked opponents this year, so a loss on Saturday would certainly help the Rattlers' chances.
The pinnacle of high school football here in the state of Georgia. In just about an hour and a half, Brooks County will get their chance at revenge at the hands of Irwin County for the GHSA 1A Public State Championship.
They're clicking on all cylinders. You can tell, going to a couple practices these last 3 weeks, Jared Hickman has this team locked in. Look for them to make a nice run to the playoffs. They're looking good. There's no doubt about it.
This is your pilot. You're clear for takeoff.
What? Goodness gracious!
It's quiet now at McKinney ISD Stadium here in the heart of Texas, but just wait until Valdosta State's fan base gets here tomorrow night. The Blazers in search of national championship number 5 against a familiar title foe as well in Ferris State. And Lowndes, of course, coming in as the home favorite. Don't think that was a huge surprise to too many people. Trying to make it 5 straight wins over the Valdosta Wildcats. And let me tell you, this atmosphere was exactly as advertised. An unprecedented move today in the landscape of college football recruiting. Prized Florida State recruit, #1 consensus national recruit, Travis Hunter, changing his mind at the 11th hour, not coming here to Tallahassee, but as Julie mentioned, the Deion Sanders-led FCS and HBCU Jackson State Tigers, reportedly signing an NIL deal north of $1 million.
At one point, all former FSU players there were asked to stand. Nearly the entire seating corps on the basketball floor stood up. So many players came to the Tucker Center on Saturday to show their love and pay their respects. 4 forced turnovers and a 30-point explosion in the 3rd quarter, en route to their 8th straight win on the season and Willie Simmons' first ever Florida Classic win.
The anticipation for football was palpable. All the makings for an incredible environment for a kickoff to the SWAC football season.
Arguably the most anticipated press conference was that of Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney. The Tigers were the final team to speak at the main podium, and if you know Dabo, you know he has a lot to say, not least of which about the potential expansion of the college football playoff from 4 teams to 12. Playoffs are here. Let's go with our game of the week to start. St. John Paul II traveling to NFC. Both teams like to score. Big matchup in 2A to start the playoffs. Florida High hosting Episcopal. Florida High with state aspirations, so we'll see how that opener goes. Cairo and New Hampstead. Madison County hosting Weewa. Madison County, another team that we're keeping an eye on for the state championship. Colquitt County and Walton. Don't forget about Lowndes and Harrison. 2 matchups, big-time matchups in Georgia for 7A. Southland, Bellwood, Liberty County, Sneads, Lincoln heading to Gainesville, Mariana, and Baldwin. Like I said, jam-packed, 16 games, 18 teams for our Football Friday night playoff opener.
South Georgia football at its finest tonight here from Centennial Field. You can hear the music. Crowd's ready to go. They're filing in right now between the Bainbridge Bearcats and the Thomas County Yellow Jackets. It's our game of the week, and for good reason. Top of the 4A Region 1 standings on the line tonight. A cold and cloudy day here in Titletown, USA, as the 8-0 Valdosta State Blazers welcomed North Greenville to Bazemore Hyder Stadium for their senior day. What many viewed as perhaps a bit of a trap game, with a thrilling win over West Georgia last week and a date with West Florida on the horizon. And to be honest, it started out that way. Ultimately, though, VSU ended up doing VSU things. A high school football team and a collection of young men using their platform to make someone else's life better. What sports is all about.